So I received Morning Brew, the newsletter, and they shared a story that I'd seen also today, which is people are ordering smaller pizzas and fewer toppings. So this is coming from the New York Times as well. So they go on to say that basically for much of this year, business at Prima Pizza Kitchen in Somerville, New Jersey was booming. On most Fridays, as many as 325 pizzas would fly out at stores, with customers frequently adding drinks and side orders. But in recent weeks, orders began to change, the owner Jerry Carollo said. Quote, before a customer would get two pies, wings, garlic knots, and soda, all of the extras. Now they're just doing pizzas. To varying degrees, those sentiments are being echoed across the country by large pizza chains and small independent restaurants. Pizza, with its gooey cheese, sometimes topped with crisp, glistening rounds of pepperoni or bright strips of green peppers, has long played a quintessential role in American households. It is a comfort food for uncomfortable times that traditionally could feed an entire family relatively inexpensively. But now, price as the national average price of a large cheese pizza has crept up to nearly $17 according to Slice, sales are slowing. Competition from other restaurants on popular delivery apps and shifting eating habits are partly responsible, but it is also an indicator that some consumers are struggling. They go on to say that there's a per person here where they went to get an extra large pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut, and the bill was nearly $30. And Pizza Hut has been struggling with value perception. They go on to say that for now, pizza chains, which make up two-thirds of the nearly $50 billion a year industry within restaurants, have basically seen flat sales since 2023. In October, executives at Papa John's said customers in the most recent quarter were trading down from large to medium pizzas and adding fewer toppings. And then Pizza Hut, the dominant player in the 1980s, has had eight consecutive quarters of declines in same-store sales. Its parent Yum Brands is weighing its options, including a possible sale of the chain. Pizza Hut and Papa John's declined to comment. Quote, the pressure on sales, particularly from lower income consumers, is not exclusive to pizza restaurants, says Sarah Senator, an analyst at Bank of America. We're hearing it across the board from other fast food and fast casual chains that the cohort has been under pressure for some time, and now it's creeping up into the middle income consumer. There's a lot of things going on with social media, like people saying they're not getting as much. They also talk about GLP-1s, and so they're basically saying that with GLP-1s, with people having less disposable income, these chains are kind of lining up for promotions and meal deals. In late August, Domino's, the market leader, came out with a limited time offering of a $10 pizza with any toppings. The deal was popular, and the restaurant's same store sales increased 5.2% for the quarter that ended on September 7th. And they said that it's driving a lot of business in their stores. And then for independent pizza shops, the picture is slightly different. Overall, independents are not seeing the same declines in sales as some of the chains, even though their offerings tend to be more expensive because they don't buy in bulk. This is being reported by Slice, which has 15,000 independent pizza restaurants on its platform. Quote, the average independent operator is growing. It's not a knock on Domino's, but most of the local shops make better pizza, which Justin, you and I know. Still, many independent pizza chains say their profits are shrinking as expenses for certain ingredients rise along with the fees to list their restaurants on platforms like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Slice. Some say they have to offer deals to compete. Quote, I am pushing out certain specials, a different selection of pies across all of our social media platforms. You really have to be in people's faces. And then they say, they add that some costs have gone up considerably. And I'll leave it here with a 25-pound box of that special pepperoni he uses has jumped to $140 from $110 to just 2 years ago. He says that also third-party platforms hurt. So we covered in the beginning of the year, frozen pizzas sales were rising as we saw economic issues with the general American consumer. You're now seeing pizza chains like Pizza Hut, Domino's struggle with their value add. We saw this with the slop bowl quote. We now see it with pizza chain sales. We see independent restaurants being able to actually grow during this time. Independent pizza restaurants. I've read in some places where people are spending less on brand name products, but are diving into more niche products. So what we could see in 2026 is maybe not like extreme renaissance for independent pizza shops, but we could see if people have limited money, and like it was like we're kind of buying in bulk before at a Domino's. But if Domino's or a Pizza Hut is just as expensive as the shop down the street that makes really delicious pizza, then why the hell not are we just going there? And so that's where we're going in 2026. So just my prediction and kind of just overall seeing how restaurants are doing and how pizza shops are doing. It's crazy to me that the pizza chains aren't able to figure it out and that independent shops are actually winning in this moment. Your thoughts on this story?
This is so timely for me because my wife and I, as part of a gift that some friends gave us for this new baby coming, there's a place in Seattle here called Good Bread, and they call it like the best frozen pizza ever. And if I'm not mistaken, the prices of them are around $18, $19 for a pizza. And it arrives at your door kind of like packaged in plastic. And it's just, they have very clear instructions for how to reheat it, and my wife and I are going to have it tonight. And so I wish I would have had it last night so I would be able to provide a review. But this is like, would we have ordered from this place as opposed to our normal pizza place that we love here in Seattle, which is one of our favorites is called Stevie's. But when I look at their prices, it's like $27, $31 for some of their pizzas. And they're, quite large. They're using ingredients like copa and burrata, and they make their own hot honey that they put on some things. And they do a ton of pepperoni, like it's very famed, like almost goes viral in Seattle when people, initially started posting about it. But it is this, and even like on their pepperoni pizza, they do like diced, I think it's pancetta or bacon on the pizza that is like almost underneath everything. And so it's a really phenomenal experience to go to some of these places. But as we're thinking about some of this stuff, like you go to the freezer aisle and you're seeing like your Tombstone pizza for $9.99, and then you're seeing a Domino's at $17, and then you're seeing, like this upper end of the market that is largely like when you go to a Stevie's location here in Seattle, it's like it's a quote unquote expensive pizza, but it's like you go and it's hot and it's ready and it feeds a family of four, and you can just pre-order on the app. A thing that I was thinking about that I can imagine we see going forward is like, is there a world where if you're ordering to one of these places, I've talked about memberships in the past. Like, is there some loyalty stuff? Stevie's does a really great job of like, I think they just use the Square POS system to track loyalty. But it is one of these things where if you know that families, especially, or, like single individuals are ordering pizza multiple times a month here, is there something that you can kind of like use in your pricing to almost encourage behavior in a way that inspires loyalty? Another thing that we've talked about that increases perception of value and then gives you some pricing power in the market so that that, like your average revenue per customer is actually going to go up, and lifetime value of that person once you've acquired them is much better than it was before you decided to do this strategy. So all of it is, stuff we're paying attention to.
I don't think anything can speak to like the crisis of like wealth inequality or how much people are suffering than to have a headline that is many Americans have to buy smaller pizzas with fewer toppings because everything is so damn expensive. Like that is just such a bleak reality right now. I hope independent shops wins, and I wonder where this goes in a year.